just 7 lines titled Why Schools. That was the year everything was caffeinated, but we couldn't stay awake. We mastered the art of unproductivity. We lost our will and lost our way. That was the year of salvaging memories for our future and our now, but we never got very good at planning.
Oh, okay. And so then I did 10 words for 10th grade. Surreal.
I went on a 1-week trip to Guatemala. Guatemala was interesting because on the plane I got to know a certain junior.
Sassy with the squiggle.
It was good because it was an experience, and I feel like everybody needs to have an experience like that. And so now I can check that off the box. I can never taste mint again because that's the gum that he was chewing. My clothing smelled like him afterwards.
Discovery.
But golf was like, I don't know, I discovered my love for Kesha.
It was one giant Kesha party in the bus.
So when I was coming back over here to get food, after I got food, Kesha came on and I was like, oh, golf. Genuine. But it was probably the best coach.
Well, there was Horizon. That was really cool how we made like friendships with girls from another school. Yeah, that was really trying.
Okay. Support.
So we were in Vietnam for Valentine's Day, and we had just come out of like the prison, right? Where John McCain was.
Yes.
The Hanoi Hilton.
The day we tried to all jump, but Ariana couldn't jump.
But Ross had bought roses for all the girls on the trip. So we're like getting on the bus, and he hands each girl a rose, and like I've known her for 2 days, and he goes, "Michaela, happy Valentine's Day," and that's honestly like the greatest Valentine's Day moment I've ever had.
Accepting.
He read The Hunger Games. I went to a bar.
Childhood.
So I got back to the hotel room and I was like on pins and needles because I was the designated walker back from the bar because because they couldn't find their way back since we were in a different city and they were tipsy.
Brilliance.
And then
We could talk about everyone's weird quirks. We could talk about how like Catherine says
and mum and what's the other vitamin? Vitamin. It's not 1111.
It's not quan.
It's Quan. Yay.
no.
So when I was thinking about memories from this year, my favorite one was when I think it was me, Catherine, Kim, Patrick, and Ariel. We were staying after school in Mr. Lewis's room, and we were all, I don't know, I think we were all just like really tired or really hyper, I'm not sure, but we all laid on the floor and put our heads on each other's stomachs and did a laughing train, and it was really bizarre, and we were all just laughing like idiots. And Mr. Holbrook walks in and kind of is like, wow, you guys are so cool. And so that was like my favorite memory.
Does love exist? Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
What do you call this?
Catherine, love is something you feel like. If I say love someone, that's like me in my head saying love exists and I love someone. It's someone's conscious decision to believe in love. It's not one inherent idea that either does exist or doesn't exist.
And this last one is a bit unconventional, but it just felt right. Glitter.
Oh, okay, I have a late night story. So, the last late night we had before it, Patrick and I were talking. I can't remember why we were talking, but we were going on one of our walks. And I asked him if he was happy. And he said, I don't know what that means. What do you mean happy?
I know, but what's the verb for friendshipping?
Shipping.
So then we went to Scribe and we started our late night, and late night was happening. And then in the middle of it all, when we were back in the office, sitting around in the rain, Patrick said, it would be okay if we just stopped time right now and nothing else changed and we were just here forever. And I thought, yeah, that's what happiness is.
Bitch. Jerk. We would also have like philosophical debates, like not really philosophical, I guess, but like somewhat.
Therapy sessions.
So sophomore year for me was not really about like making memories. It was more about learning lessons. I think I had to learn the hard way that things change, and it may not always be the change you want, but sometimes it's the change you need. It comes in ways you wouldn't expect, and you just have to accept it.
that things can't always stay the way they were. I think that's what I'm still in the process of learning, is how to adapt to those kinds of situations.
So basically they all looked like Death Eaters or something. And I was the only one who didn't because I'm a loser. Yeah, exactly like that. And whenever someone fell out of formation, we would stop and back up and keep going again.
I got locked in the faculty lot, so I had to literally take my car and drive through campus.
And I also learned a lot about just like thinking about yourself, like in terms of self-worth.
Something I always do at the end of every school year is look at myself as the person I was at the beginning of the year, the person I was at the end of the year.
I think for me in the past, it was more like how am I in relation to others? And this year I really took a step back and thought about who I was in relation to myself. And I didn't always like what I saw, but I did my best to fix it.
At the beginning of this year, I was still really trying to get over my self-consciousness. I've always been really skinny, and that wasn't really something that bothered me when I was younger, because when you're a little kid, that's not something you think about. You're just there. Somewhere around 6th or 7th grade, I started looking at myself and being like, oh, wow, I really am skinny. That is really weird. It sort of progressed further from there, to the point where even not just talking in front of a class, but talking in front of like people I know, my friends, I was uncomfortable. That's changed a lot this year, because I'm way more comfortable now, because this is who I am. I'm really proud of who I am.
Not having classes with people forces you to expand your horizons and like go look outside of your little friend group into other people who you wouldn't otherwise know, and it's really interesting to like get to know other people. Learning to try, and you have to work at friendships. It doesn't just happen because there's classes with each other. You just have to work at things like that.
Everyone had animal masks on, and like they were dancing around the streets, and we were running wild, and we were those teenagers that people hate.
Actually, and it's made me appreciate everyone that I'm really close with, all of you guys. There you go.
But like the fun of History Day is never really like what happens with the projects. It's always the things we do in our downtime.
They played some song and we walked up to them.
Yeah, and then we asked them to play Little Lion Man because they had a banjo, and they did. And we square danced to Little Lion Man. And then they said they had an original song that they had been playing like all night, but they were gonna play it again.
They started.
You should hold hands with me. You should hold hands with me. You should hold hands with me right now. The caveman part. Yes, like we have a time machine. We travel back in time to the caveman. They said things were all I got. I found a certain senior, or a certain senior found me. I don't know. It worked out really nicely. I don't know. I was very courageous in talking to people I wouldn't normally have been comfortable talking to.
Every time I hear Little Lion Man, I immediately flash back that movie,
Yeah.
because
That was actually one of the greatest History Day
that's my
moments.
favorite history.
And then we went back, and he stopped, and he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No." And he hit reverse, and we just sped backwards down the street. And he's like, "Look up," and I looked up, and all of the Christmas lights were so gorgeous, and we just really slow, like 10 miles an hour, went down the street, just cruising, looking at everything, taking it all in. And the street was over, and we sped off again. And I don't know, it was just, the night felt really easy, and for a few minutes there, it stopped being like a crush and started being a friendship. That's a night that I'm gonna remember for a long time. It was different than anything I've ever had.
He's so sexy.
Who's that? That's my real. Are you kidding?
We were supposed to go back to Mountain.
Lightning!
But it was thundering and lightning, and the park closed because roller coasters and thunder and lightning.
But Disneyland was actually perfect because that's
Yeah.
where Violet went, so we got to meet up with Luke and Cecilia. Honestly, he was like a puppy who got left out in a rainstorm.
I haven't heard
so wet.
I haven't heard actual genuine thunder that loud in years.
It was terrifying because I have
I've never seen hail before.
what's it called?
Inhaled.
It starts with an A, but I have it. It's a phobia of lightning. Like I actually get really nervous. But more interesting was going back to the hotel.
We had another friend there, Lexi. She's a junior, and there were these boys we were texting all night because we thought that one of their friends was in love with Kayla.
Can we say names?
You are a jerk.
And the fire alarm goes off, And at first we think it might be a lockdown, so everybody just sort of sits there for a good like 30 seconds. And then we realize that it's a fire alarm, and we're like, oh, there's another fire drill. And then we see the smoke directly underneath us, and we're like, shit.
In my
there's a
favorite
fire.
classroom.
Yeah. So we proceed to walk in our punk rock gear to the
All
fields.
black, like all of us are
black
wearing
with,
like skinny jeans
eyeliner
and like tattered shirts,
Yeah.
and like a leather jacket, like yeah.
Yeah. I was told that it looked like I had caught on fire. So I think it's about time that we talked about
So I sit having my knee electrified, which tingles but doesn't hurt, and read about Bantu migration patterns, and it kind of sucks. The next morning my whole body aches, and I stare at my crutches with hatred. Then I slap my brace on and have time to blow dry my hair so it looks a little less like a tangled mess, and more like a lion's mane. And I pull up to school, and I'm just another kid in crutches, and I don't really mind. I feel strong and independent and satisfied. So when I snap at you or tell you to stop worrying about me, when I decide to crutch down the stairs, it's not because I don't recognize that you care. As I've told Michaela, as much as I try and be independent, I usually end up needing help anyways. Thank you so much for waiting for me and getting me lunch and sending me Facebook messages. I cannot possibly express how much I appreciate you. Maybe I'll make you brownies or something. Love, always, Ariel.
I confess that if the ducks die, Francis and Parker, it was my fault.
What did you do?
There are things we spend time bearing as scarlet letters, but they become our badges of honor. Our personal blasphemies become our aspirations. We can change for the better. Yes, everybody, my outdated epiphany is that things aren't always worse. They can be better. The past week has been especially tough for me, but you have no idea how much seeing all of you the past few days has helped. You are the greatest remedies. And yes, Catherine, I remember. I remember the alignment and the explosion, and the swing set, of course. I will try my best to never forget. I love you all. I want to believe in this book and this friendship. And with a will, there's a way. Yours, Michaela. This is the sticky that says you will make it through. I carried this around with me part of freshman year. Let it be a reminder to us all. If you have this friendship, you will make it through.
The words themselves may change, but it's a pleasant surprise for me to see the letters peeking over the hill. I can find myself looking forward, creeping over that hill every day, whether to encounter a new different set of words or the familiar ones I grown accustomed to from yesterday and the day before. So this has gotten to be kind of a long entry, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that though we all may and will change as we grow up and live out our adult lives, we will always know that there are 6 other people out there that line up to spell out the perfect combination of words. The letters themselves may change, but the billboards won't, and neither will our friendships. Here's to always rising over the hill and seeing our familiar faces.
Can yours please be the section with Patrick, the Patrick section where you like admitted your love for Patrick? Please.
This was a postscript I wrote for a letter on October 1st of 2011. Patrick, I shall now attempt to understand you, so please bear with me. Because you are different, Patrick, we will eagerly accept your letters no matter what you write. Jay told us to make demands. I demand that Patrick and all the people of the journal be given as much time as is necessary. I demand that there be no judgments in this journal, except for a girl who cannot help but judge herself. And I demand that Patrick accept this as the first genuine demonstration of friendship that I have ever given.
Here's my statement to end on. If in the future you remember this book and start to wonder, know that at least for me, this was the moment in the middle when I felt something. This is real, and it means something to me. And if a 45-year-old version of one of us has just found this in the attic and is reading it through, know that I'm Kimberly Macy Spados, and I'm 16 years old, and I wonder about you, and I want you to know that it will always mean something to me.
No, it's not a sea sort of
So yeah, that was sophomore year for me, basically.